of women, and this is a red flag, and this is what she's doing to her husband or her ex-husband, right? You know, her child's father. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just believe I look at actions. I don't just look at what you doing on YouTube or what you say. Your actions is everything, you know. And usually people you see the real them when, you know, when the cameras is off and nobody's around, and you know what I mean? That's when them true selves come out. So yeah, yeah, that's his ex-wife. I want to talk a little bit about the court system. I talked about it just a few.
Jesus Christ is the king.
What's good, everybody? It is Capital J Productions. I'm back with another one, and today we talking about Tyrese. Okay, Tyrese, the singer slash actor. We're gonna get right into it because I have a lot to get into. All right, now, of course, you guys may have heard about this story, and recently, and I want to talk about it because I've lived this. I know all about it, and I just want to kind of go through this situation that Tyrese is going through, and I'm gonna give my advice to Tyrese, for someone who's had a bitter baby mama, right? So, and since Tyrese is a singer, he's a musician. Well, technically I'm not really a musician anymore, but I still make beats from time to time. But yeah, so let's get into it, right? Okay, so this is about Tyrese failed to pay this child support, right? Which is $492,000, right? But here's the thing, right? I want to talk about how the lawyers, like, as you guys can see from the TMZ report, right? And I'm using just TMZ news because they usually are the most accurate news channel, so I like to kind of use them, right? But you see how it says the lawyers want him locked up, right? Now this is something people don't realize about the lawyers, and this is why I wouldn't really ever recommend anybody get a lawyer, especially any black man, right? Because the law is not for us, and you can clearly tell it's not for us if you ever had any experience with the law, like I've have. I got plenty of stories I can tell y'all about, like cops doing me dirty, you know, cops trying to shoot me. I have so many stories, and you know, I've never done anything to provoke them. So, but that's for another time, right? So I actually have videos. I've told my story before about, you know, these crooked cops. But the truth of the matter is, right, if you're a black man, and you know, you should know, right? Like at some point when you become a younger adult male, black male, you're gonna figure this out at some point, right? But the truth of the matter is, the law is not on our side, right? Like that's just the reality, right? And it's funny how the reports, look how they put the reports. It says the lawyers want him locked up. Okay, so yeah, I mean, lawyers, there's usually somebody behind that, right? Like, you know, they ain't gonna just come after you unless, you know, somebody files the paperwork, right? So I mean, I believe Samantha is behind this, right? Like, because in my case, right, like if my child's mother wasn't ever pushing for child support, I don't think I would have ever had to pay child support, right? So I mean, it's not like they are starting to come after people like within the system. You know, a lot has changed, but you know, but I still think the mothers still have power to, you know, to tell the court system like, no, I don't, you know, I don't want child support, and really, emphasize on it, but that rarely happens. So, but yeah, just understand that the law, the like, Tyrese, I'm gonna give you some advice, because there's a lot of things you're doing wrong, but that's later on, right? But if Tyrese is an actor, right? This man knows a lot of people, and he has a lot of power, and he has a lot of access to powerful people, and even he still got done like this. So y'all got to keep that in mind, okay? So I also want to talk about the crooked attorneys, right? Like, a lot of the times, these are like, in majority of the cases, these attorneys, man, they'll tell you up and down, like, oh yeah, we can get this for you, we can do this for you, we can do that for you, only to realize, but if the system is against us, right, how is any attorney going to be able to do anything for us, right? So that is something, you got to kind of keep in mind. Like, yeah, you probably do have a good-hearted attorney and they're white and they want to go hard for you, and they do go hard for you. But if 90%, and I already have a video about this, about how 70 is really 78%. The last time I checked, is 78% of judges are white in the court system. So I mean, and that's off Google. If you Google that, that's what's gonna. If you ask Google what's the percentage of white judges, it's gonna say 78%. Okay, so that tells the whole story within itself. So I mean, like, these attorneys, man, the whole court system is crooked, and you guys, man, y'all got to be smart. And even, I heard that he had a prenup, and they still not honoring that, because the court system is like, they probably feel like they can do what they want to do. So having a prenup as a man that ain't it. You know what I mean? That might have used to been the move, but that ain't the move these days. Obviously, they can override, and I know they can override anything. So you guys can't rely on so it's like, what is Tyrese paying his lawyer all this money for, when they could just override the law and do what they want to do and say, nah, we're still gonna go after it. You still owe this money. And I believe that's the main reason why Tyrese ain't paid this money, because Tyrese definitely has the money to pay this, right? But what's supposed to be fair is supposed to be fair, but we don't live in a fair world. So let's talk about, I want to start with his ex-wife, right? Samantha Lee Gibson. Now it's funny because, the first thing I looked at her, I wanted to, I put in her name because she still goes by Gibson, right? The last name, but that's supposed to be his ex-wife. And I always had a thing about that, like, that just don't sit well with me at all. Like, that's supposed to be your ex-husband, but you still gonna carry his last name. Like, the whole point of you being an ex is, it's like you shouldn't be able to carry, your husband's last or your ex-husband's last name. That just should not be a thing. Like, what's the point of getting a divorce if she can still carry his last name? But I have a theory about that. Like, I believe the women do that because they're kind of like trying to set a mess or send a message to the other women after them. Like, oh, well, I'm still a Gibson, so I'm still here. I'm getting his money. I'm still here. I really believe it has something to do with that, because why would you want your ex-husband's last name? You don't want to be with him no more, but you still want his last name. So, ladies, y'all gonna have to explain that, because that don't make no sense to me at all. It never will. And I don't think there's any way y'all can justify that to me, because, y'all better be ready. Y'all better have some great reasons for it, because, if the man was bad enough, for you to leave him, why would you want his last name? So, but yeah, man, there's all kind of red flags with Samantha Lee Gibson. She does have her own YouTube channel. I've watched a couple of videos, and she's full of it. She's a waste of time. She's not something that any man should listen to. Anybody really should be listening to her. because like everything I like using me for example, right? Everything that I talk about, everything that you guys see me do, you know, I live this. It ain't just me talking here, talking out of my ass here. Like I'm just coming, but it is a lot of YouTubers that do that. You know, they just get on here and they start talking about, you know, about a bunch of stuff they ain't never done, or they have no idea. You have a lot, that is a thing like on YouTube, but here you won't get that here. You know, everything I talk about from experience. You know, because that's the most important thing. And if you can't talk from your heart, if you can't talk from experience, and if you can't be truthful about what you're saying, then you're just a fake person. And you know, like there's no value in the way I see you, there's no value in you. So, and that's how I see Samantha Lee Gibson. You know, like how's she gonna be telling men to stay away from certain type of women, and this is a red flag, and this is what she's doing to her husband or her ex-husband, right? You know, her child's father. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just believe I look at actions. I don't just look at what you doing on YouTube or what you say. Your actions is everything, you know. And usually people you see the real them when, you know, when the cameras is off and nobody's around, and you know what I mean, that's when them true selves come out. So yeah, yeah, that's his ex-wife. I want to talk a little bit about the court system. I talked about it just a few minutes ago, but man, I can't stress this enough for men, for men in general, but especially black men. You guys, man, y'all gotta be careful, man. Like I can't tell y'all how many times I went to jail, and I've never gang banged in my life. I don't have no tattoos. I'm probably one of the cleanest people, you know what I'm saying, black people that you probably could ever meet. And even me, I still went through a lot of dumb shit, you know. Just really just because I was raised in a, you know, a certain location or in the wrong locations. You guys got to be careful about this, the court system, because it is out to get black men one way or another. If they can't put you in jail, they're gonna take your money from you. If they can't take your money from you, they'll take your assets, maybe your house, your cars. You know what I'm saying?
And they'll begin emptying